color pour paint starting kit, and this is so cool. If you've never heard of pour painting, I'm gonna bring in the wonderful Amber Kemp-Gerstel.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
National
today.
blogger extraordinaire. So do you. It's great to have, so tell everybody the name of your blog.
My blog is called Damask Love. You can go there for all things crafty, or you can come here and watch me for even more all things crafty.
Because she travels all over the world, basically.
I go everywhere, trying my best to force you into being your craftiest self. And this right here is really something that you can do to make it look like you're a pro, but truthfully, this is super, super easy to do.
This is so cool.
This is, like you said, the Color Pour Art Starter Kit. So I'm gonna take you over here and just show you what you're getting, because what we've done is we've taken the art of paint pouring, which can be a little bit intimidating because it requires mixing different mediums with your paint, but we have created paints that are pre-mixed. So you don't need to do anything other than open up that bottle and start your paint pouring project.
And I don't see a brush there. So
there's no brush.
Yes.
It's like, it's artistry for the least artistic people. So you're gonna get 9 of those paint colors, those pre-mixed paint colors. You're also going to get a canvas, a set of gloves, which is important, a drop cloth to keep your workspace clean. You're going to get some Cell Magic, which I'm gonna show you how that works. It's a very tricky little tool that makes your projects beautiful. You're gonna get 10 popsicle sticks, which is great for mixing, and then last but not least, 10 cups for mixing in. So let's go over here to my canvas. This is a canvas that you're gonna receive in your kit, and I'm gonna put on some gloves. You'll wanna protect your hands just because this can get messy.
A little messy.
It gets a little messy, but honestly, that's the fun part of paint pouring. And
I think so.
And
it's like, just let go.
Exactly, just let go. And you know, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start squeezing my paint into these bottles, or the cups. So I'm gonna squeeze.
That's Miami right there, girl.
Yeah, right? That's where I live too. So we're gonna just squeeze color into the center of each one. And I'm doing it in a way that I kind of get different mixtures of color.
Sure.
But you wanna do it so that you get a good kind of variation.
Sure.
I love to add a little white to each one. That gives me a little bit of kind of white space, which is nice to break up the pattern. And then I always go in with gold because
what a neat concept.
Gold is everyone's favorite. So we've got a lot of colors going, and then I'm gonna add this Cell Magic. Cell Magic is essentially a silicone oil that allows your paint to separate in really cool and beautiful ways, and you only need a couple of drops. So I'm gonna add a couple of drops to this, to each one, and once I've done that, I'm gonna take my paint stick and look at, you can already see that those colors are starting to mix, and I'm going to just give it a little stir, nothing too much, but I can use my paint sticks to stir, and once you've run out of paint sticks from the kit, I'm sure that you can find more, or even maybe if your kids eat some popsicles, you can steal some paint sticks from them, okay? So I've given them a little stir, nothing too much, and now I'm going to take my canvas, and I'm going to start pouring. Now there are lots of ways to pour. There really is no wrong way to do it, but I'm gonna just start pouring my paint on.
That is so cool.
And in just a moment, you're gonna see the effect come to life. So we'll keep going.
And what I love is I feel like every canvas, it comes out like a modern watercolor piece.
Yeah, it's like modern marbling almost.
Yes, so if you're looking for some modern art, how cool is it?
Why not make it yourself?
Make it yourself.
Why not make it yourself? So now, once I've done that, I can leave it like this, or I can maybe go through, add some striations in there to give it a bit more of a marbled look. You can use toothpicks for this to give a different pattern. You can use a comb. I've seen people use like a hair comb to do this. And then once you've done that, this is where the fun starts. You're gonna start tipping this canvas so that you start seeing that pattern come to life. And the more color and the more paint you use, the more beautiful that pattern becomes.
I agree.
And this is fun because, like I said, this is artistry for this person who may not feel so artistic, because once you start tipping and letting the paint go in whatever way it's gonna go, you have no more control. Like, this is where you lose control and you let it be. But look how cool
that is.
That is
gorgeous.
Isn't that beautiful?
I seriously would put this up in my house.
Of course you would. Yeah. And people would ask you, like, what modern art museum did you buy that from? It's just that simple. I mean, one thing I always recommend is go ahead and get yourself extra canvases, which you can pick up at hsn.com.
Sure.
Because you're gonna wanna keep doing this over and over and over again. You're gonna wanna see what different techniques can I do, and I can even pour a little more paint on here if I want to, just to really fill out that canvas.
I mean, there's no wrong way to do it.
There's no wrong way to do it.
And this is on 4 flexible payments, so you get this home for $4.99. And you know, I think it's a great idea if you can swing it to get several, and maybe you haven't thought of the themed birthday party for your grandkid or for your kid.
Oh my gosh, what a great idea.
This would be so
And let me tell you,
fun.
the kids will love you because it gives them permission to be a little bit messy.
To be messy.
And in the end, you're gonna have a custom piece of art that you're going to love
so
displaying.
every kid that comes to the birthday party, they're basically going to bring home a piece of art from mom or dad. I think it's the coolest thing.
That's such a great
Or even
idea.
girlfriends. If you want to have girlfriends, you know, people have pajama parties and margarita parties, whatever. You could have your girlfriends over, open up a bottle of wine, and everybody just go to town and paint. I think it's just the coolest idea.
That's such a great idea. Now, what I've done here is you're gonna let this dry completely, but then you can add glitter to it. So that's a great way to add a little bit more texture to it. You can play with different tonal colors to get a different look for your marbling or your color pour. This is a dimension, so it doesn't have to be flat. You can even use something like this where we got this marbled pencil cup. We just got
how long does it take to dry?
So it will depend. So depend on how thick the paint is that you put on. It may take a day or two to dry. One thing you'll want to do, I'm not going to, actually I can do it this way. You can tilt it, dry it in a tilted position. Go ahead and stick some books or something underneath, maybe some old magazines. That way all the paint will kind of flow off in an even way and you'll get a much more even finish at the end. Here we've put a, marbling effect with paint pour, color pour, into a tray. So you can really get creative with the surfaces that you're using.
So you can pretty much use it on most surfaces?
On most surfaces, yes. I would say anything that's not too slick that will hold the paint, that will grab on. Now over here, I do want to talk quickly about the additional options we have. Of course, you have the starter kit. Like I said, that's going to come with the 9 colors of paint, a great way to start your color pour, paint pouring experience. But we do have the metallics, and I believe these are jewels. I'm not sure. This is the iridescent. So larger bottles of